No worries. Sounds good. Good morning,
Hello.
Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Our guest today is the COO of the Propstore, Brandon Alinger. We'll be discussing their upcoming entertainment memorabilia live auction running September 4th through September 6th at the propstore.com. They're going to have some of the most iconic pieces in memorabilia history from the best movies ever. Brandon, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I appreciate the description that we also feel these are some of the best movies ever.
So, how can our listeners sign up to bid or at least to dream?
Everything is at our website, which is propstore.com. The business has been around for a long time. We're one of the top sellers of original movie props and costumes as collectibles. So everything that we sell is a genuine artifact. It's pieces that were actually used in the making of your favorite movies, your favorite television shows, and the full catalog is out there now. There's 1,100 items in total. I think it covers something like 400 or 500 different films and shows, and there's still plenty of time to register, get involved, and bid on some pieces you'd like to own.
So, what is the record holder for the history of the prop store?
That's a good question. Yeah, the most expensive item that we have sold at auction to date was a model miniature of an X-wing fighter from the very first Star Wars film. So the X-wing, of course, is the ship that Luke Skywalker flies. The wings look like an X. This was a model. It was probably about 22 inches long. Made of plastic and resin and metal, and it was one that they actually used, actually filmed, shot with cameras for the visual effects sequences in the very first Star Wars film released back in 1977. And we sold that in 2022, about 3 years ago, and it did $1.9 million as a hammer price. And then there's buyer's premium on top of that. So with the buyer's premium, it was about 2.35 million US dollars all in.
Oh, wow. So, I hear there is one that is projected to go between 1 and 3 million, the Darth Vader's hero lightsaber, which I understand there's a difference between just a lightsaber and a hero lightsaber.
Yeah, that's right, bro. And World of Props reflect the quality of the build. Metal or high quality materials. It's built to such a standard that it can be seen in close up on camera, and it's going to hold up to it. The alternative to a hero prop would be something like a stunt prop, which is frequently made out of rubber or resin or some kind of lightweight cast material, and it just doesn't present as nice. It's not as finished to as high of a standard. So this one is what we call the hero dueling lightsaber or fighting lightsaber. It's the one that they actually installed a fiberglass rod on, and the actors went and fought with on set. And it is the most documented, highest quality example of a lightsaber from the original trilogy, the first three movies, that's ever come to public auction. And that's got a lot of people very excited. So, I mentioned the record is that 1.9 hammer on the X-Wing model. A lot of people think that Darth Vader lightsaber has potential to surpass that. Of course, we won't know until it hits the auction block next Thursday. So tune in and we'll see.
Now, I know not any of these items are going to go for their starting bid. However, with starting bid starting at $100, it can't allow but, for us to dream. I know, for example, I was looking through the website the other day. There was a Power Ranger gun that was reasonably priced that I was starting to go maybe and starting to figure out my finances for. Uh, but obviously, they don't end up going for that far. But that is pretty cool that you all started at a reasonable price.
Well, I think everything costs $1 to $3 million. So obviously something like Darth Vader lightsaber is incredibly recognizable, incredibly well known. The price is linked to demand, and demand, of course, is linked to the popularity of the film, the popularity of the character, how prominent the piece is within the film, all those sorts of things. But we also have plenty of items in the catalog that are at much more accessible price points. Things in the low thousands of dollars, maybe even high hundreds of dollars. And we try to have something for everybody. We we realize most people cannot bid on a $1 to $3 million Darth Vader lightsaber. So it's not just about that. We like to we see people frequently develop in their journeys where they start with smaller pieces and they progress to larger pieces over time. A lot of it is about getting comfortable with the world, educating yourself, becoming more knowledgeable on, like I was talking about the hero prop and the stunt prop. There's a lot of nuances to the world of film props and costumes, and we try to educate those people at Propstore. Right? We try to educate people on the subjects at Propstore with things like our social media and our YouTube videos and our FAQs and all these sorts of things. But the bottom line is, if you're a new collector, if you're just starting out, if you're interested in getting into the world, we do have very accessible pieces as well, and some of them are a lot of fun, like the Power Rangers piece you mentioned there. So, yeah, we encourage everyone to take a look, especially this auction, because there's such a wide range of content.
So it feels like the obvious answer to this question would be the lightsaber, but I bet you there's something else that you would have in mind. If you could have, something that meant personally something to you, if you could have any piece in the auction, which would you want?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this auction that I'd be very happy to have. We tend to focus on the big genre and action movies, really of the 1960s, 1970s onwards, and all that is my favorite movies as well. So I grew up with things like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, Batman, the Alien movies, Jaws, and this auction has pieces from all those. I guess if I was picking one piece that isn't the lightsaber, I would probably say the Indiana Jones bullwhip, which is one of his actual bullwhips used in Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. It's just an amazing thing.
Ooh, I missed that when I was going through the catalog the other day. Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be amazing. The two I ended up picking were the gray sports almanac from Back to the Future 2 and the stunt version of the Necronomicon, which now that I've talked to you, I now understand more about that the stunt versus the hero, because the ideal that the Necronomicon could be a hero confused the heck out of me. I was like, well, of course it's for stunts. And they're like, no, that's quality. Yeah, so that makes a lot more sense.
Reflection of the build quality of the prop, actually. It's a term that prop masters use and the film industry uses to describe kind of the grade of the prop, if that makes sense. That's a
Nice.
good choice. And look, people love Evil Dead too, so I'm sure you're not the only one who would say that.
So, do most of the pieces end up in museums, private collections, or somewhere else?
Both, really. I mean, all over the place. We have buyers in every corner of the globe and all over the U.S. And a lot of it is just people who they're just trying to have a deeper connection with something they love. So they can get their hands on a little piece of it. They're so happy to bring that in their collection and become the caretaker for it, all that sort of thing. And what I see a lot of is people who want to display something in their home office, or they want to display something in the home theater. We do also sell to museums. There are some museums who come in and buy. There are some private individuals who are buying with hopes of opening a museum someday in the future. So, for many of these pieces, even though they're going to the auction block now, it won't be the last time that they're seen.
Nice. Well, Brandon, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. I think it's great how you all do these auctions and allow access to such great parts of Americana history. So thank you for joining us. Before we let you go, what is the website again?
Website is propstore.com. So prop is in movie prop, PROP, store.com. And auction is coming up next Thursday to Saturday, September 4th to 6th.
That is awesome. Thank you for joining us. You have a great day.
Yep, thanks. You too. Take care.
So that was nice. We talked to Brandon Alinger. It was interesting. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about. And yeah, I would love to bid on that auction. Obviously, I'm probably not going to win the the Powerball tonight or tomorrow. But if I did, I'm probably going to start a haunted house with the alien and all the other cool memorabilia, RoboCop popping out at people. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. That would be, yeah, I might have to actually do that if, no, I'd have to do that if I won that. So anyway, thank you all for joining us.